The automotive world has long associated the Genesis brand with a very specific kind of excellence. We think of whisper-quiet cabins, buttery-smooth suspension, and a design language that oozes sophisticated, understated luxury. But as we move further into 2026, it seems the Korean luxury manufacturer is tired of being the polite newcomer at the table. They have decided to kick the door down with something so aggressive, so powerful, and so fundamentally wild that it has left the entire industry in a state of shock.
Welcome to the era of the Genesis X Skorpio, an 1100 horsepower dune-bashing monster that proves Genesis is ready to play dirty. This isn't just a styling exercise, it is a high-performance statement of intent that blends the brand's signature athletic elegance with a level of ruggedness we have never seen from them before. At first glance, the X Skorpio looks like something that escaped from a high-budget sci-fi film set in the year 2050, yet it retains enough of the brand's DNA to be instantly recognizable. The iconic two lines lighting signature is present, but here it has been reimagined. Instead of delicate LED strips, these lines now wrap around a front end that sits high off the ground, flanking a massive, darkened G-matrix grille that looks less like a cooling intake and more like the maw of a predator. The name Skorpio is perfectly chosen for a vehicle that feels predatory and lethal. This concept is part of a broader push into the extreme performance sector, likely tied to the growing Magma program that has been teasing us for several seasons.
However, while previous Magma concepts felt like road-going track weapons, the X Skorpio is designed for the high-speed desert. It sits on a specialized off-road chassis with a ride height that makes standard SUVs look like lowriders. The wheel arches are flared to an almost comical degree, housing massive, deep-tread, all-terrain tires that look capable of clawing through the deepest Saharan dunes or the most punishing rocky trails of Moab. But the real headline, the number that everyone is talking about, is the power output.
Genesis claims this beast is pushing a staggering 1100 horsepower. In a world where 600 or 700 horsepower used to be the ceiling for performance trucks, Genesis has leapt over the competition to enter the hyper-off-roader territory. This power comes from a sophisticated multi-motor electric powertrain that allows for precise torque vectoring at all four wheels. In the sand, where traction is a constantly shifting variable, the ability to send exactly the right amount of torque to a specific wheel in milliseconds is the difference between flying over a crest and being buried to the axles.
The engineering behind the X Skorpio is as fascinating as its aesthetics. To handle 1,100 horsepower in a desert environment, you need more than just big motors. You need a cooling system and a suspension setup that can survive the heat and the violence of high-speed impacts. Genesis has equipped the Skorpio with long-travel adaptive dampers that look like they belong on a Dakar rally racer. The suspension components are exposed in several areas, finished in a bright, contrasting metallic orange that hints at the Magma heritage.
This isn't just for show. The visibility of these parts emphasizes the mechanical strength of the vehicle. The bodywork itself is a mix of lightweight carbon fiber and reinforced recycled plastics, ensuring that despite the heavy battery packs required for such power, the power-to-weight ratio remains favorable for explosive acceleration. When you step inside, or rather climb up into the cabin, the experience changes from rugged exterior to high-tech command center. Genesis hasn't abandoned luxury, but they have hardened it.
The seats are deep bolstered racing buckets finished in a weather-resistant technical fabric. There are no delicate wood veneers here. Instead, you find forged carbon fiber, knurled aluminum switches that are easy to operate with gloves on, and a panoramic display that provides real-time topographical data and drone view navigation. The X Skorpio also features an integrated roof rack system with high-intensity auxiliary lighting and a specialized recovery suite. It is clear that the designers thought about the actual use case of a 1,100 horsepower dune basher.
There are mounting points for sand ladders and a high-capacity winch hidden behind a motorized panel in the front bumper. Even the aerodynamic profile is functional. Despite its height, the Skorpio uses active aero flaps to maintain stability at the high speeds it is undoubtedly capable of reaching. We are talking about a vehicle that can likely hit 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds on asphalt and maintain terrifyingly high speeds across open sand. This project signals a significant shift for Genesis as they look to broaden their appeal to a younger, more adventurous demographic of ultra-high net worth individuals who find traditional luxury SUVs too boring. It also serves as a halo for the brand's technological prowess. By building a vehicle that can survive the extremes of off-roading while delivering hypercar levels of power, Genesis is proving that their EGMP evolution and their motor technology are second to none.
Critics might ask if the world really needs an 1100 horsepower off-roader, but in the luxury market, need is never the point. It is about the could. You could cross a desert in record time. You could embarrass a supercar at a stoplight while carrying a full set of camping gear. The X Skorpio is about the freedom of limitless capability. As we look at the production-ready details on this concept, from the functional tow hooks to the cooling vents for the battery, it becomes clear that Genesis isn't just dreaming.
There is a very real possibility that we will see a limited production version of the Skorpio, or at least a vehicle heavily inspired by it, hitting the market as the ultimate flagship of the Magma line. It represents the pinnacle of Korean automotive ambition. It is loud without making a sound, aggressive without being crude, and powerful beyond reason. The Genesis X Skorpio has officially moved the goalposts for what a luxury off-roader can be. It has taken the elegance of the brand and dragged it through the mud, and the result is the most exciting thing to come out of the Genesis design studio to date. If this is a preview of the performance future for the brand, then the competition should be very, very worried. The Scorpion has arrived, and it has a very powerful sting.